Khatib. Now, Mr. Ghassan.
Unfortunately, this speech was good only on the level of the principles. It did not present mechanisms of implementation that would be helpful in removing the current Israeli pressure and atrocities against the Palestinians. That's why, if it's left to the context of this speech, I'm afraid it might not be good enough to change practically the situations on the ground. And the speech included many vague concepts that needs further clarifications and discussions in details between the Palestinian Authority and the American government, especially the new and strange idea of provisional state or provisional borders. Finally, there are some problems for the Palestinians in this speech, especially that the president, who rightly called for elections, tried to predetermine the results of these elections by putting conditions of changing the Palestinian leadership in spite of the need to determine that leadership by free and democratic elections. This is very sensitive because any people, including the Palestinian people, will not be satisfied when anybody from outside would try to interfere in determining their leadership.
Israel is a peace-seeking nation, and the Prime Minister has reiterated several times that once there is a cessation of violence, terrorism, and incitement, and once real reforms are instituted in the Palestinian Authority, thus creating a different leadership, one that pursues peace and not a strategy of terror, then it will be possible to advance on the courses of political negotiations, which eventually could lead to the vision that the President so clearly enunciated in his speech. These conditions were made very clear in the speech by President Bush. And if I could summarize it, I would say that this, in a sense, is a post-9/11 speech, a speech when it is clear that in order to establish real peace in the world after the attack of September 11, there's first a need to eradicate terrorism, violence, incitement, and hatred. And that is exactly what the President stated. First comes first. First, the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian people must reform their ways, reform their institution, choose peace. Then Israel will perform, and Israel is willing to make the necessary compromises, painful compromises for peace. But first, there has to be a clear understanding that terrorism and peace cannot dwell together.